I'm Catherine Marshall, and in the fall I will be teaching International Development Institutions and Global Finance, MSFS 598. This course is geared to students of international development, but international relations more generally, and its aim is to help navigate the very complex and changing architecture of institutions that are involved in international development. It will introduce the institutions themselves, the leading institutions, the way they are changing, the way they operate, and the way that they interact. It will focus both on issues, but also on practical aspects of operations. The international architecture of development is going through quite profound changes in the balance between public and private, multilateral and bilateral. The politics behind the formal structure of institutions is often less than transparent. So understanding this architecture, no matter what institution a student will be working with, whether it's an NGO or private company, government, or multilateral, they need to have an understanding of how the institutions interact and how they are changing. A large part of my career was spent at the World Bank for several decades in operational positions. I worked most of my career on Africa, but also spent time on Latin America and on East Asia, and was also involved in a large number of institutional task forces, etc. In this position, I have mentored literally dozens of young professionals. And the way that this course is structured is very much geared to what I have learned about how to help people over the hump of coming to terms with a complex institution in an even more complex development environment. During the final years of my career at the World Bank, the president, Jim Wolfensohn, gave me an unusual and difficult challenge of engaging in the worlds of religion and of development. And that eventually took me to Georgetown, where I will be in my 10th year. The issues that have come out of this intersection between development and religious organizations have led me to focus more sharply on the ethical dimensions that lie behind day-to-day operations. And that colors the way that I look at the international development scene today. This course will essentially have 3 parts. And in all of it, what I assign to students is a combination of some of the academic literature so that they have an idea of how that is framed, but also operational literature. And my hope is that students will be astute in navigating between the unpublished, this gray literature, and the formal academic literature. The 3 parts of the course will be first an overview of architecture, navigating, looking for a map of how regional development banks, multilateral institutions, UN agencies, bilateral, private sector, civil society, etc., interact. Some of the mechanisms for aid harmonization and aid coordination, and some of the broad environmental issues that are confronting the various aid institutions. The second part will go much more specifically to an operational level with a strong focus on countries. So students will look at the strategic documents, but also the operational documents that are used to make decisions and to guide operations and implementation at a country level, working individually and as groups. And then the third part will focus on emerging issues. What are people talking about? What are the debates about? What are the controversies about development in today's world? The assignments will involve reading, obviously, active discussion in class, and short policy-focused writing assignments and presentations in class.